Tim Petrowich of the Daily Republican here with Marion head football coach Kerry Martin. We head to Week 11.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to be in Week 11?
It is. It sounds good, doesn't it? Week 11 sounds good. It has a nice ring to it. It means, we talk about grass turning brown and it gets dark early, and when you're still playing and those things are happening, it's a good sign.
Well, this Saturday you've got Peoria Richwoods coming to Marion. First, like we always do, let's talk about last week's game. Decatur MacArthur, a game the Wildcats won 24-7. And I know you're glad to win, and I know that at this point of the season that's the objective. I also think that you feel like you could have played a little bit better than you did.
I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, we made a lot of mental mistakes, and that's the thing that's most frustrating. We haven't done that really this season, and we misread the wristband, and we lined up, incorrectly, and we covered people we shouldn't have in our formations. We just little things, and it was like they were almost taking turns. And again, we just haven't done that this year. Had those mental breakdowns, and so we've, got to find a way to get better at those things, and go back to fundamentals again this week, and just try to correct those mistakes, because they could have been very costly. And I think in the first half they were costly for us.
The mistakes were particularly on the offensive side. Yeah. You talked about that. Despite that, the defense, and we talked about this too, played a pretty exceptional ball game.
They did. The defense kept us in the game. I mean, the special teams and defense kept us in the game while the offense continued to make mistakes. And we had several nice drives. We just couldn't finish any of them because of the mistakes. And Dalton made a nice throw to Zach Irwin for the touchdown. And we felt like we had two or three other drives that we could have capitalized on. But they're a good football team, and when you make a mental mistake and you take a penalty or you only get a 1 or 2 yard gain or whatever reason, they're going to make you pay for it. And so we, in this time of year, you've got to play very good football. You got to be consistent every down, because there's no room for error. And the longer you play into this playoff run, the tougher it's going to be to make up for those mistakes.
You had bottled up Ladarian Shelby really well. All of a sudden, wow, huge hole he had on the touchdown run. Maybe a play you weren't looking for at that time?
Yeah, well, they had been throwing the ball quite a bit, gave us a little draw look, and he's an explosive player, and he had us worried all week long, and we're just glad he did that once and not 3 or 4 times, because he's got that kind of ability to take it from anywhere on the field for a touchdown. And it's a great call, executed well, and we weren't ready for it.
Second half, you went to the change of pace offense. We've talked about this all season. It's been a very good offense for you this year.
It has. We're pretty good at it, and it's been, it's been an effective way to manage the clock and to move the football and to give our defense a rest. And just, for whatever reason, this particular team is pretty good at it. This is 2 years in a row. I think we've had a special group that's been able to do a little bit of the spread and the change of pace, and so we just try to use it as effectively as we can. And we really didn't plan on using it to start the third quarter. It was kind of a last-minute decision to try it for a series, and we got a short field on the bad snap, and we decided to try it and got it in the end zone and stayed with it, and it worked out well.
And I think compliment to your offensive line, Coach Spates made the comment, he thought they had the answer when you went to the power look. He said you just blew them off the line, executed, blocked well, and they couldn't stop it.
It was a great performance by the offensive line. Those yards sometimes were very hard fought in there and tough. They were very big up front and very athletic, and we weren't sure how well change of pace was going to work against them, because they were so big and athletic, and one of the biggest fronts we've seen all year long. And the kids just got the job done. And as I said, sometimes it was 3 and 4 yards a pop, but you add that up over three downs, and you got a good shot at a first down. And then we had a couple of big plays off of it too, and got some larger gains, and the cross play worked great for us.
Peoria Richwoods Saturday, 4 o'clock game time, a little bit different game time. Explain the 4.
Well, I guess it's a compromise. They wanted an earlier start, we wanted a little later start, and I guess 4 o'clock set by the IHSA is kind of a compromise time. And I'm just kind of glad the time is set and we can go on and talk about other things. And we're going to look forward to playing at 4 o'clock. We hope we have a great crowd, and we're excited to be playing at home again.
Richwoods is 9-1, just like the Wildcats. One of the things I've heard is that they like to run, and then they like to run, and then when they get done running, they like to run a little more.
Well, watching them on film, they've got a very good football team, and I mean very good football team, and that's a pretty obvious statement from a team that's playing in the 5A second round with 16 teams remaining. But I've been impressed from the moment we put the films in. They're very well coached football team, very disciplined, very technique sound. You can tell they read keys and line up properly, and looks like they've got kids that are making adjustments on the field, and they love to run the football. They want to manage the clock, and they do it quite well. They do it against everybody. So we know exactly what we're getting into. This reminds me of a Mount Vernon team or someone else like that we've played in the past. That likes to do that kind of thing, and they've got a quarterback that can make some plays. If you bite into all that stuff, that inside running game, they can kick the ball outside or quarterback keepers or throw the ball down the field too. So it can be tough.
The fullback is their main back. Hicks, not a very big back, but he does get quite a few yards. Had 156 or 256 yards, I believe, last week against Springfield. And then, like you said, the quarterback, I think they like to run a little bit of option, and he's had some big games too. So.
He has. They're a great combination. And I tell you what, even as much as that's impressive, and the fullback's a heck of a football player too, and then the offensive line gets off the ball and they create some problems. They're a sound bunch. They get off the ball low and hard, and they really play well together. And so it's going to be take another great effort by our defense, and we've got to put points on the board. We can't have a 7-7 halftime situation again. If we're going to win this ball game, we've got to get out. We've got to get some points on the board. What's
the biggest concern you have with them?
I'll probably stopping the run. I think that's what they want to do. They want to control the clock, and they want to run the ball down your throat. And we've done a pretty good job this year, much better job this year of against the run, defending good run teams, and it's going to take that kind of effort again. I think that's what they want to do. So we've got to get some stops up front against their running game. We've got to score some points, and we've got to spread the field and make some things happen and utilize both our spread and change of pace again effectively, and manage the clock a bit ourselves too. And I think when I look at these two teams matched up, I think special teams will be big in this ball game. I think there'll be a deciding play or two made on special teams that could decide the outcome.
Are there some things, without giving away the whole game plan, that you think you can do?
Well, obviously, when you look at what a team does, there are things that you anticipate that you're going to be able to try to exploit, and whether you can or not, you'll find out when you play them. But every week we've tried to take our offense a little bit and tweak some things, and we do have some things in mind, and hopefully we'll be able to execute those. But we've got a couple of different looks we're going to give, and maybe a few adjustments here or there. But at this point in time in the season, you better do what you've been doing all year to be successful, and not overcoach this point in time.
Couple of players that I thought stood out last week offensively. We talked about Zach Irwin and the fact that he's been battling the ankle injury, had a nice game. Defensive side of the ball, J.T. Bateman and Marcus Green had outstanding games.
Marcus has probably been our most consistent player, and he continues to show that every week. I mean, he's just had a great season. He's our leading tackler and makes plays. J.T. had his best game of the year. There's no doubt about it. He was a constant source of harassment against their offense and putting pressure on the quarterback and making tackles from sideline to sideline. And he's a good football player, and he practiced with us all year last year and didn't play, and got to step in this year and really had an impact. I thought Nick Hudson had an awfully good football game, and our front people did a good job of keeping their run game in check and forcing them to throw the ball maybe a little more than they wanted to. And so what a great defensive effort, what a great team effort. I commend our defensive staff for putting together a good game plan against a pretty explosive offense.
Home again. Really have to, after last week, I think everyone has to be excited about a football game in Marion.
Oh my gosh, great atmosphere. Crowd was noisy. And that's the thing. The crowd noise was the most we've dealt with here in a long time. I mean, it was deafening at times. And in high school football, that doesn't happen very often. They were loud. They were rowdy. I just loved the atmosphere, and we hope to create that again and get everybody energized. And we fed off that. There's no doubt we had an advantage Saturday night because of that.
All right, Coach. Good luck Saturday. We look forward to seeing you and possibly even doing this again next week.
I hope so. Thanks.
Coach Kerry Martin of the Marion Wildcats for the Daily Republic, and I'm Tim Petrowich.